Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I am so glad to be here with you today. Hi, Philippa. Hi, Michelle. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. I know it's early morning for you, Philippa. And I am D for done with the big project. Hey, Joanne, how are you doing today? So, although I have something here in front of me to work on, my brain is completely fried. I am mentally exhausted, and we may just end up talking through this thing. I don't know. I don't even know where to put some French knots next. So we'll see. Yeah, it's sunny and cool over here. The sky is bright, but it's definitely cool. But I do have the doors open, which is really nice. All that fresh air coming in. Let me swap my cameras around for you. And we're going to go to, nope, we're going to go to this view. There we go. All right, and forewarning, first thing this morning, I put in a call to Social Security to ask them a question, and I'm on the callback list, and I'm sure that the callback will come at some time in the middle of the live stream, so then you guys will have to just entertain yourselves when that happens, because I will have to take the call, otherwise I have to start the process all over again. Yes, it is awesome that it is done, and I got to the photographers yesterday, and he did some beautiful photography for me. And then I was able to fill out the application to enter the show I wanted to. So it's out of my hands now. Just, if it gets in, great. If it doesn't get in, I still made my deadline, which I was shooting for. But now, oh my goodness, I almost brought you guys into the studio and turned on the camera so I could clean, because I have absolutely trashed the studio and the living room, and my husband's been so indulgent with me making a mess and being obsessed on this for the last month or so. Anyway, this is where we are. And let me show you what I'm thinking. Okay, so I found a few things. It looks a little different. I found a few things that were in my purple box, so I attached them. I was thinking I might put this kind of right there, but I might put some French knots down first. And I had done these French knots here, and I'm thinking beads on top of these French knots. I'm not sure. I'm kind of thinking maybe I need some more dangly stuff coming out of here, or maybe I need to do some. I don't know. Since there was no plan for this, I don't know whether I should just leave all this light pinky stuff here and then just add the sparkly beads I was going to add. I do not have the patience for beads today. I'm just not sure, and I'm afraid if I do French knots in here, am I going to cover that up? And maybe that's okay. Ooh, because I do have, let's see, I do have more of this netting. So if I did cover it up there, I could add it someplace else. But I just am not sure that French knots are what it needs. I don't know. You guys let me know. Talk to me. Tell me what you're thinking. Because I am kind of at a loss. I mean, I could just do some other stitches over the couching. I could... No, couching that's too thick. And I don't think I have anything else. This is all my purples. I really don't have that much. Hey, Terry, how are you doing today? I was thinking maybe of couching something else over this, but Dreams and Shadows, I do not remember your name, but thank you. She said it looks awesome. So maybe these little beads, I don't know. You like the netting? So see, I don't want to. Yeah, should have been. I just couldn't think anymore last night. I just couldn't think. Martha, thank you. Sorry, Martha. I remember Martha H. See, and I'm afraid if I'm going to lose this. I have this. I could add another layer I could couch some more down on top. Oh, maybe that's what I need to do, huh? Do we couch some more on top of here? Where's Tanya? I lose impact, don't I, if I do this? I lose the impact of the light. See, this is my brain exhausted. Oops, I got something blocking the chat here. Michelle said, my sister-in-law gave me a vintage lace flowered dress from 1968. I've cut it up and dyed and painted the flowers. That's what I've been working on this week. How fun. Maybe something more. See, I just feel like I'm going to lose this. You know, maybe I should check. Maybe the beads aren't going to be the right idea either. This is going to be a pain. They're going to go all over the place, but let's just try. Oh, I should put you guys up on the... Joanne says, I'd love to see what you've done with the dress, Michelle. Yeah, I'm sure you'll post it, right, in the group? Okay, I'll bring you guys up a little more so you can see. Hey, there's Tanya. I was wondering where you were. Hi. All right. Of course, let's straighten it out because otherwise the beads are really... Hey, Sue. All right. Well, you guys aren't even going to be able to see the beads, are you? Let me zoom you in. We go to number 1 and we zoom it a little. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the beads aren't going to go there either. Well, I am at a loss at the moment. Hey, Kat. She says, sometimes our creative juices just aren't flowing. It can be hard forcing it. We're grateful for your presence, even in moments like this. You are so sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, and, you know, you have to give yourself, when you finish something really, really big, like this project I've been working on, you have to give yourself some grace about doing anything else. You know, yes, there are other things that I want to work on, but I'm not going to start them right away. I have to totally put the house back together again. I need to get ready because I have a photo shoot on Monday. I have a photographer coming here to the house. So I definitely need to get the studio ready. And then we're hosting Easter dinner on Sunday. So I have to get the rest of the house ready. Sue said, do you feel lighter now that you've passed your deadlines with the big wildscape? Yeah. You know, I'm not 1,000% pleased with how it came out. But I think that's the way it is, right? Take a break. Tell us how life is going. Hey, Wendy, glad you're here. You know, I don't think that we finish a project and we're like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's absolutely exactly what I wanted. And that is just part of being a creative being, I think, because we always look at it and think, okay, I can grow forward in a different direction. So while I could look at the piece and nitpick it like crazy, most people are not going to see the kind of things that I'm going to see. And because I sort of had a vision how I wanted to finish it off, that didn't happen. And so that's a little frustrating to me, but it's not going to be frustrating to anybody else because not anybody else knows how I wanted to finish it. Martha said, I'm making tassels from fabric and fibers. I'm experimenting with dye and thrifted fabric. Oh, that sounds like fun. Kat said, exactly. Being tired and pulled in multiple directions affects our creativity. It absolutely does. And I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons that we can learn for our creativity is to give ourselves grace in those moments. Yeah, so maybe once in a lifetime. I think the first wildscape I did I was really pleased because, not because I thought it was perfect, but because I could see where I was going and I can see where things are going in the future. Tucker and Tulips Designs. Oh, please tell. Oh, it's Trudy. Hi, Trudy. She said, I had your notifications on and I thought you had it on and was not. I put it on yesterday and voila, you were able to see the live. Yay. Yeah, that's what I figured you meant, Sue, being 100% satisfied with the piece. You know, and I mean, I think that just tells us that we have so much more creativity in us that is just waiting to burst out, right? So when I look at the Wildscape, it's just right over here right now, and I'm thinking, okay, so I used a lot more of these components than I thought I would. I didn't use as many of these. There are some that I made that I absolutely love and I couldn't put on. And all I can think about is how exciting it's going to be to go to the next level. It really is. Okay, Michelle said she posted her flowers things in the Facebook group. Joanne agrees about never being completely satisfied with the end product we create. Yeah. Yeah, Tucker and Tulips Designs is Trudy. I'm just so glad to have people here today. So come on, give me some feedback, you guys. What do you think? Let me pull you back a little bit more. All right, if you're looking at this, what do you think? Do we need French knots? I mean, I can't say that I'm sorry I put these in. Maybe I need to balance them over here. I was also thinking about cutting little bits of things. Kat said, very helpful feedback for yourself, figuring out what elements you prefer using for a project like this. Yeah, well, and I think the thing is, in some cases, this project was using up a lot of old stuff, old yarns that somebody had given me. And so I really wanted more in some areas, and I just didn't, you know, I didn't have it. It wasn't there. And I had to figure out what I could do to fill it with. And it's not that I didn't want to use certain things, but I didn't have room. I literally didn't have room. I made all these branches and vines, you know, long viney things, and there was no place for them. More French knots where? What do you think? More magenta grassy element in the bottom left. I was wondering a couple of ideas about this stuff here. I could either have more stuff kind of like hanging down, whoops, off of this edge, or maybe some of the feathery stuff coming in between here. I think we definitely need, oh, maybe this really softy stuff gets woven in here. That might be kind of cool. So more French knots in the light purple areas. So in this areas here. Hey, Barbara. She said, oh, hi, Susan in chat. Just felt a little earthquake. Yikes. Do I have a dark purple I could add? So on these, I've got some drizzles here. They're kind of sloppy ones, so I need to tack them down so you don't see the end. These were old things. I have a very limited amount of this. So I'm wondering if I start adding French knots in here randomly. Yeah, Barbara's in California. She's a lot further north. Hanging down is your thought, but maybe both hanging and woven in. Yeah, I'm thinking I need to, so the whole thing, so say if this is what it gets stretched around, we definitely need to have some hanging off of here, but that's an easy thing at the end. I'm just really wondering about French knots in here because I could put, maybe instead of really tight French knots, maybe some clumps of, yeah, Sue, that's exactly what I was thinking. Clumps of them and maybe the loose loopy ones rather than tight ones. Trudy says, I love the purple, Susan. All the shades are amazing. Thank you. Because I don't know. Let's see what else we have. I've got Well, this floss is kind of neat. Yeah, I do think it needs more dark to balance things. Maybe since I have a whole lot of this, okay. And I'm not sure, maybe the beads might not be a thing, or maybe they might just go over here. All right, so maybe that's what we'll do. We're going to take, this is a floss, but it's a variegated floss. I don't know if you guys can see a little bit of variegation. And I think, so I definitely think at the end, whoops, I just dropped a bunch of stuff on the floor, which we need to grab before Tally does. Because, you know, balls of yarn are squishy and fun. So we'll definitely do feathery stuff at the end. And I think this will be a very simple, ha ha ha. Every time I say simple, you guys should laugh at me because it's not. Nothing is ever simple, right? Let's see here. I need to, Barbara said, Terry, it's always strange to hear of earthquakes in other parts of the country where you'd think the ground was stable. Oh, because Terry said I experienced an earth shake on Monday, 2.0, not very big bang. Yikes. Variegated floss. Cosmo makes a really nice variegated floss. I don't buy floss anymore because I don't like to work with it very much. It's just become something that's not my fave. But, oh, here's my call, guys. I'm going to have to mute you. Talk amongst yourself. All right, that was quick and easy. Let me see. What do we have? Who said what? Oh, Terry's been getting frequent small earthquakes. Martha said we've had earthquakes in Vermont in the past. San Diego had a big earthquake recently. Sue said she pulled weeds in the yard this morning. Still trying to recruit my energy after that. Yeah. Barbara said, yeah. Barbara had Martha in her book. Barbara, do you know that Letters to Sunflower Flowers is our friend Wendy, who is eating hot chips and planning to do some red work embroidery? Ooh. Michelle slept in till 11. Wow. Sleeping in for us is about 11:30 or 7:30. Sorry. Joanne said, same here, Sue. I did yard work today. Terry wants to know, where are you in Vermont, Martha? And Barbara said she just finished her soul collage session for the month. Martha's in Vernon. Yes, sunflowers from South Africa. That's the one. So Social Security said, even though their website and all the other information I've gotten said that it'll be 30 days before they process, really it's 60 days. So I'll just go back to waiting, and I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure I didn't get lost in the shuffle. Sue said, a friend gave me a little red work kit the other day. It looks too fine for me to enjoy stitching. Yeah, Kat, you like stitching with that tiny stuff. I'm always impressed when I see your reels on Instagram because I just, not my thing. All right, we'll try a few of these scattered and we're going to see what we think about it. I think I'm going to come over here where it's starting to fuzz up. Oh, I guess I see this is the day I just pulled the thread right out of the needle. I forgot to put you in the thing. Hey, Andrea, she's working, so she cannot stay long. Well, glad to see you pop in when you can. Let's see. I'm going to hook it up over here. Barbara said, yeah, golly, Susan, you had to call Social Security. I'm hoping I never need to call them, at least not right now. Yeah, I hadn't applied yet, so I applied March 1st. And on the website, it says 30 days to start, you'll get your letter letting you know of your benefits, which I shouldn't have any problem with because there's nothing unusual about mine. But when the gal finally came on the line, she said, well, you do know it takes 60 days. And I'm saying, no, because your website and everything says 30 days. Even the recording when I called in said 30 days. So there's some updates. So I'm okay. Yeah, I just hope I actually get it because I haven't received my first one yet. So hopefully it won't be an issue. All right, let's see. That I didn't. Okay, it's kind of loose. Always takes me a while to get back on track for doing the loose ones. Let's see. Because that'll just make them more like little gathered stuff. Yeah. They won't really look like French knots, which is what I want. So yeah, I'm hopeful to start getting some of it. That's the main thing. There shouldn't have been any issues, although the website was kind of weird for filling out that stuff. All right, so it's going to be one of those kind of days. I can see. I see what happened here. Something did not go all the way through the needle. I don't know why it did that. But we're just going to roll with it. There should not have been another. Oh. Anywho, so people are doing different things, or people are working on projects, right? And I will tell you that after I finish this live, I am going to go into the studio and start sorting all the stuff. I don't know if you can see a little bit of the things behind me. I've just got these containers, they basically, they look like this, only they're greens, and everything is all mixed up. So I need to sort it and get it put away. And I may or may not have ordered some more yarns. I guess I was telling you guys about how I was using up old yarns. And I did finally find Appleton wool yarn colors that sort of match the ones that I want to use. It's like I realized I had a whole lot in one tone and I want some different tones. Sue said, hubby brought me daffodils last week. This week it's tulips. We have fields of both this time of year around here. Oh, how lovely. My husband brought me some just because flowers last week, which was a wonderful pick-me-up in the middle of all this project. Barbara said, I'm still knitting on a shrug. It's the 4th pattern I've tried with the same skein of yarn. Wish me luck. That the 4th time is the charm. Oh, have you had to keep taking it out? Terry said, I found it, Martha, over by Brattleboro. I was hoping you were closer. Always nice when you can find some to be someone that you've met online that you can connect with maybe in real life. Wendy said, I live near the southeast coast of South Africa. Our metro was previously called Port Elizabeth. It was changed to Nelson Mandela Metro and is now called something that I won't even attempt to pronounce. Tanya could probably pronounce it. She does all that stuff. Not me. Sue said, I just adore flowers. Can't get enough of the colors and variety of forms. Sue, do the scents of flowers bother you, or can you handle that? Because we have to get me, mostly unscented in a lot of cases, bouquets, because Martha wants to know, Terry, are you further north? Barbara said, yes, if I get to a certain distance so that I know I won't like it, I take it out. It's much faster to unknit than to knit. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pile some of these loopy ones on top and we'll see. Flowers don't bother me, just everything man-made. Well, that's nice. You can get it all out of nature. Tanya says, I met my hubby online. All right, let's see what we think about something like this. I come out a little bit more over here. What are you pronouncing? Whatever Wendy said her area where she lives is called. You have to go up a little bit to Letters from Sunflowers. Terry is near the southern point of Lake Winnipesaukee. Yeah, that place. You know, the other thing that's hard for me on this piece is, you guys, I like purple, but I'm not like connected to purple. So that does make it harder for me to think about it. But I do want to finish off some of these older projects, which is why I'm not going to invest a lot of time in them. All right, let's see. Take it off of here and see what we think. Maybe that's where I don't know. I think it's too many. What do you guys think? I think it's too many. It should have been like maybe one there, one or three, maybe like three. I think they need to come out. Tanya said, hubby walked in just as you read out loud my comment about meeting him and he freaked out. How does she know that? The ways of the internet, right? All right, yeah, I don't like it. Michelle says she likes it. I don't like it. It just doesn't seem right. I think I should have stopped with just a few. I have my tiny scissors here. No, because the tiny scissors would have been convenient for getting in there. I don't know. And and this is it. I'm actually, even though it's frustrating to not kind of have a plan for something and know what I'm going to do, it's good for people to see this is how you work through stuff. Sometimes I could stitch over it. Sometimes I would just take something else and pile on top of it. I am going to have to go after it with my other scissors, which I won't make you guys mess with it. Yeah. Joanne said, I'm glad you said that about purple, Susan. This piece is nice, but I can't get the greenery of the big piece out of my mind. Yeah, that's it. And, you have to go where your heart is. And this is why I only have, this small container of miscellaneous purpley things. Now, I could, I don't really have a lot of the other stuff out here ready. I would do it with that. Yeah, more earthy colors. Yeah, cat, exactly. Made more spread out and near the edge and maybe more amount of them. I'm thinking like, okay, actually we can do this. If I cut some of this out, show you one of the things I sometimes do to kind of figure out what goes where. And there's some people that get to something like this and they just get really frustrated and they just toss it away. And I just say, I'm figuring out, the more things you figure out that don't work, the closer you get to figuring out what's really going to work for you. There's no real blue. Everything's shades of purple, pinky purple. and just using up leftover bits. Okay, there's a nice long one. And sometimes, you have ideas and things they're just never going to work. And if I decide I don't want to go any further on something like this, then I am going to have, now that the big project's done, I am going to have an abandoned project sale. And you will only know about that if you're on the newsletter mailing list. So if you're not on the mailing list already, go over to the website and sign up for that. I get past Easter and the photo shoot, and then I don't have a lot of abandoned projects, but there are some. I could do short little bullions there too, all around, but all right, so how did the photo shoot go? The photo shoot I did yesterday was strictly for the big wildscape, and that was great. I mean, he's awesome. He made a special background board because my project was so big, so that he could photograph it. And then on Monday, I will have the photo shoot here at the house. I was going to have it a while back, but we postponed it because I just needed the time. All right, so these are just some of my little scraps of this dark color. So I'm just going to kind of drop them down, and we can see, especially if I pull you back so you can see more of it. You can see how putting little bits of it around, I think, might be better off. And maybe that's too dark. That might be the other thing. It might be, I am going, well, so all he did was take one picture, of the really big thing there. Hey, Nancy, he took one picture of the full wildscape for me because he had a solid background that would, hold the artwork. And I needed it for the application, and I needed it to apply to Open Studios. So I am working on a video so that you'll see the whole thing, and then you'll see close-ups of all the details. And you like the fuzzy dark up there now. Turkey stick. There's this fuzzy. Is this the one you mean? This is just some eyelash yarn. I have no turkey. I don't like doing turkey stitch. I'm looking at this. Yeah, scattered like this is good. And I'm thinking, I just think French knots of any kind are going to be kind of flat. So what if, and I'm thinking maybe the little dark purples that are scattered around are going to be, maybe that's where the beads go. So now I really want to get the rest of these out. Let's do this. Looks like it. Yeah, and the colors are never quite true. In fact, when I came home, because the photographer, of course, gave me super high res, and he had formatted it so that I could have some prints made if I wanted to of the piece, and so that it was the way they wanted it for Open Studios. And I looked on it on my laptop, which never has a good graphics card, and I like freaked out. I had to go into my husband's office and look at it on his better graphics card to make sure that the colors were true. So hopefully I'll get the video done and out maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I haven't done a video in a while, and so it'll be a fun thing. Just a short thing, just to show you the whole piece and tell you a little bit about the story. Not the little patch I was just trimming. Yeah, these are just the French knots that didn't quite work that I'm kind of taking out. Terry said, I think one isolated patch of dark plum is striking. Well, see, there's so many things, but I have an idea, but I want to get this other color out of here first. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Sue, too. Maybe that's where the beads go, just these little scattered clumps of sparkly stuff. But again, I don't have the patience for beads today. I'm actually looking forward to cleaning up, the messes. And this banana fiber, of course, is starting to fuzz up because that's what banana fiber does, and that's okay. Just adds more texture. Okay. Kat says, I love the look of turkey stitch, but it's such a pain for such a small payoff. Yes, I prefer couching a similar texture too. Yellow base intentional? No, it doesn't matter because you're not going to see it. And this was just some cheap acrylic felt that somebody gave me. And because this is really, really thin material, so it would make my work buckle. So then I always like to put something a little heavier behind there. Okay, I have two ideas. One idea is, because I might have, that same color here. Let's just take a little, use the energy for cleaning when you have it. Exactly. Could do a couple things with this, but I was thinking I could. If we wanted to get a little more 3D. I'm just so looking forward to cleaning up and seeing what I have left, because I have ordered some more yarns, because whenever I find my discontinued yarns, I order it. I just ordered 10 skeins of a yarn I love to use from Turkey because they actually had it. And then trying to find replacement yarns for stuff that I know they don't make anymore. So I could do something that's too big. I'd probably... It looks better when you stitch it, but I'm not going to take the time to do that yet. I just kind of want to play around with ideas. And if that's what this happens today, is I just get a bunch of ideas, then that's great, because then we'll work on them another time. Bright base makes the back easier to see through, though. Yeah. So I could do little clumps of that. Or Terry said, I'm taking it sort of slow today. Yesterday was raking flower beds and chicken coop maintenance. Oh, boy. Let's see here. One of my weaver friends gave me a bunch of, what do they call them? Thrums that they bring off the loom. So they're just, I just have small amounts of them. No, that's going the wrong direction. The white center. Where do I have a white center? Hi, Lee Songi. I don't have a white center. Oh, this is just a pin. That's not anything that would be attached like that. This is all I have of this. I wonder how it would be knotted. Yeah, thrums are just great. When I can get them, I'm really, really happy to get them. So what if I made a bunch of knots on this? And if you did it so you didn't see the... Nope, don't like that. All right, what if we... See, you gotta experiment. Oh, could use white French... Yeah, I see. Yeah, could do a white French knot in the center. Let's see if this will work. Get me a little bit slightly longer piece so I don't have that much purple sari. What happens if we make knots with the sari ribbon? I don't think this is going to do it either, but Tanya wants to know, Tara, are you making videos yet? Oh, and Terry, how is your Fussy Cut Friday going? No, don't like that. Well. I can use the sorry though to block some places. To see how we feel. Or a bead in the center if they're small enough. Yeah, I was kind of thinking maybe maybe the beads come into play like this, but maybe it's just, where did my thing go where I made the knots? Okay, again, this is just color blocking here. If I had 3 here and 1 up here, let's see if you guys can see the whole thing. That's pretty much the whole thing. And then we're going to have the feathery stuff coming down here. Got this other netting. Terry said, Tanya, I've made some shorts for Fussy Cut Friday, but haven't graduated to YouTube yet. You like it even darker than this? So what if we, let's go to a section of this netting. Yeah, what it looks like in real life is Susan's struggling today, and I'm okay with that. I really am. If nothing else, this kind of gets the brain matter just kind of churning around in here. So I just don't know. All right, let's grab the box again. I didn't really want to. I'm keeping the feathery stuff aside. I've got some ribbon, but that's going to kind of blend in. You know, and you can always, where are my crummy scissors? Shoot. Let's just grab maybe some fuzzy wool. Maybe. I don't know that I have purple wool. We'll see. Sometimes you can just play with the wired ribbon and get some interesting little I feel like I'm trying to be too balanced now. And I'm really, this is making me frustrated. I don't know if any of these beads. I don't know. Tanya says, Terry, have you posted your shorts on YouTube? I keep hearing from content creators that YouTube is pushing for more shorts. Might be a great way to get going there. It's a thought. Sue said, today just may not be the day this piece moves forward, next week or after all your cleaning and Easter activities. Yeah, it could be. Or it could be that I just, like I said, put this in the abandoned projects because I'm okay if that happens too. So these are some beads that are similar to this color, but maybe the bright beads are not the ones we need. Maybe it's more, this is all I have, but I'm kind of liking these. Let me adjust the zoom on here. Oh, that's not going to work. You guys can't see everything that way. So you see these little beads are very complementary. So there's some darker ones and some lighter ones. I need to put a few up here, but maybe, you know, when I'm working in the greens, it's always more is more. That's my way of thinking. Okay. But maybe this is one where less is more. Where's my other fuzzies? Ah, where did you go? So perhaps you have to imagine I have all my little fuzzy things out, which I can't put my hands on right now. But if I did, and then I do my, I think this might be it. I think Terry said I still need to register for a YouTube account. I'm close to taking the big step. Michelle says the light needs a dark contrast. Tanya said, Susan, you opened that box of beads and I reflexively gasped. I'm sitting here like the cartoons with the starry eyes. Sparkle. Sue said those are subtle but add to the areas that have needed something. Are some of those beads variegated in color? Yeah, they're glass beads and they all kind of a little different. Now, okay, wait a minute, people. Hey, Renee, how are you doing today? All right, we will do this. We might have a winner here. We might have a winner. What if, let's see, they're not going to fit on, oh, they are going to fit on here. All right, maybe, I don't know if these are going to fit on there. I don't know how big the hole is. Now we could combine the sparkly beads with these glass beads. I put them somewhere where you guys could see them. Let's see, I'll go take a few pins. We'll do this on a few of them. That might be a way to, or, okay, I'll have a mess that I have to clean up, but I'm okay with that. All right, so I can either hook them together like that, but I think what I like is, let me get this to focus. Maybe come back over to my camera and put it on autofocus. Okay, so if I use the glass beads here, and then I put some of the sparkly beads next to it in a random way, I think that might do it. Because that's going to get some variety. It's going to get some light and dark without adding too much of the other weight. I think we have a plan. I do. See, and you have to go through all the things. You really do. I mean, maybe there are people, I'm sure there are somewhere, who can just look at something and say, this is what I need to do next. But my brain doesn't work like that. So I think what I will probably do, get the, I may not work on this one next week. I may save it aside because I think I have a plan now. Yeah, I think the random glass ones and then these little beads. And then I'm thinking I can do more of the sparkly beads. And let me put a few more up here and then I can hold it up. In this section up here. And I'm not so sure about the netting. I may just end up leaving it. So yeah, it's a plan. And then I will, next week we'll grab another one of the abandoned projects and see if we can go forward on it. So if I have a plan for them, I'm okay with it. I'm definitely okay with that. These are slightly bigger than seed beads. I never know my bead sizes, but they're still a pain to pick up. Okay. And this is good because it'll let me use up these beads. Yeah, and then I'm going to do kind of like a tassel, but a whole bunch of the soft fibers so that coming out of here, you have all this stuff hanging down. How big did this end up being? Let's see. This is about 7 by 8. So I think I have an 8-inch canvas. And if I don't, I'll just create something. I have no idea if I'll get into Open Studios. The application is due the end of this month, and then we don't find out until sometime in June if we get accepted. And I guess it's kind of hard to get into, but my brain is kind of thinking about things that I can make for inventory. And while I'll have some of my expensive art there, I'm trying to think of some things that I can have in the, $300 or $400 range. So probably I got an idea finally for doing my glass bowl terrarium kind of things. And I will experiment with those. I'll work on some smaller projects while I'm working on hang this on point. What do you mean instead of square on? I don't quite understand what you mean, Sue, but I like the idea. Yeah, it could be, Terry. I know you're the bead expert. What do you mean by hang on point? That sounds like something I need to learn. But I have the big white piece too that I have to figure out what to do with because I made, terrariums. Yeah, when I saw the very first one of yours, I saw Cat where you had it on its side. It's so funny to have seen that because I had been looking at, I bought, Michael's has bubble bowls where you could buy a bulk amount of them. And so I bought, I think I have a dozen of them. And that's what I was kind of playing with the idea of how I could do them on their side. And there's something in particular I want to do. So we'll see, but I don't want to, I figured doing the terrariums for Open Studios would be nice. Shipping something that's glass, and you've got to think about the point of the, so it's like, I gotcha, like that. Well, then this is all on the diagonal. That doesn't quite work. Kat said, like a diamond shape, Sue. If it finishes as a square piece, hang it from one corner. Oh, well, just a minute. Let me get these beads off of here, and I'll show you what I mean. Kat said, I'm putting out more videos on how I made the soil in the next month or so. Yeah, I have a few. I'll be interested to see how you're doing it. I had one very tiny. Oh God, and I don't like working tiny. But I had those votive candle holders that are glass. It was really tiny, and so I did a little experimental one in that with my my soil. Michelle said, "How about a vessel around a candle?" Maybe. I do. Oh, speaking of vessels, though, that's one of the other things I want to do for Open Studios. I've got a whole bunch of cordage from fabric and yarns. So I do want to finish up the vessels that I had planned on those. They're the kind of things that I can't submit to my galleries. They're not show material, but they are something that would be good to have for sale. Okay, I think I got all the beads out. Ooh, look at that. I did. Let me move this. And let's see. Yeah, so this is the top, but there's going to be something even. What did I do with the other really soft stuff? I don't know, but just imagine there's a whole bunch of the soft stuff coming out here with more of the cheesecloth and stuff. So yeah, maybe next week we'll work on one of the vessels. That would be, I haven't done that for a while. Again, just trying to use up a lot of this stuff and focus my energy to the things that really get me excited. And it's not that this doesn't get me excited, but I started this when I was at one stage of creating, and now I have, gone into other areas. I'm also going to be starting the beach. And so I've been thinking, yesterday, it's like, okay, if I want to do my beachy ones, I really don't want to cover a huge thing with French knots. I might do some smaller beach ones with French knots, but I think I'll get out the embellisher and I will make a beachy background with the embellisher and then build those up. So those would go a little bit faster. Yeah, fabric vessels are great. And the needle felted vessels and the vessels where you make them over like a balloon shape are also great. My issue a lot of times with vessels, if I'm not like sewing them or coiling them, I don't like to use the gluey effect because I don't like the way it feels. Kat says, I look forward to seeing how you achieve the soil aspect. My current method looks very realistic, but is quite heavy. Definitely will be shipping priority mail when I make sales. Yeah, isn't that something we always have to think about too, is just the, I hate having to think about shipping. Like when I think about the glass bowls, it's like, okay, and then attaching the stuff into the bowl because you don't want it all to tip out because the box is going to go every which way. The first stuff that I shipped to my first exhibition in New York, I could have shipped so much better. The big piece, I will apply to shows that are close enough that I can drive it. There's no way I'm going to try and ship something like that. The piece I sent to Georgia to the exhibition there, I was a little bit better at packaging, but yeah, my soil is very simple, at least the one that I did, and we'll see. I'll probably play with the embellisher on that one too. It's a nice way to use up odd bits and things. Yeah, maybe we'll do a corded vessel next week. I'm not sure. We'll see, but my voice is telling me it is time for tea. Yeah, fabric vessel is so much fun. And again, I don't want to start something new. I want to finish things. But thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for being understanding when I had to take that phone call. And I look forward to seeing everybody next week. Bye-bye for now.